Welcome back to your home for everything local sports. It's JJ.
And Matt, and this basketball championship video is brought to you by Naples Rib Company, the perfect place to cater your team's next event.
Wilson girls basketball trying to make history on championship Saturday at Godinez in the Division 3A final.
Bruins have the right mindset as the top seed as they go up against number 2 Eisenhower and star freshman Salah Hemingway.
She's got a literary stat line to be sure. The Bruins going for their first championship in 20 years. Obviously a lot of athletic success at Wilson, but not on the hard court. As has been the case in these championship games, it's a slow start with emotions high and nerves already frayed. It was uncharacteristic really for both teams.
The Eagles were the first to calm down and fly into an early lead as the Bruins would trail 16-8 after the first quarter.
And a little bit of nerviness over there on the Bruins side. However, Samaya Terry going to take care of that. She kept Wilson in this game with a sheer force of will and some smooth moves off the dribble. How about this stop, pop, drop at the top of the key? Game high 10 points for her in the first half.
Ashley Hawkins struggled but hit some huge shots, like this three-pointer that cuts into the Eagles' lead. Eagles only up 24-23 at halftime.
And Wilson got to be feeling good about that after a tough first half. Got to be honest, the rest of this game was like the house of highlights. The Eagles kept hitting big shots, and Terry, going coast to coast, kept answering.
Can't forget for whom the bell tolls. Hemingway, 13 points, 7 boards. Good, not dominant because of Jasmine Stone and company.
Final minutes of the third quarter, that's clutch from Ariel Hines. That ties the game. Then with about 13 seconds left in the third, loose ball, Hawkins flies past all the Eagles, lays it up and in. She would score 14 points. Wilson would take its first lead on that bucket, and they lead 40-36 at the end of the third quarter. Wilson faithful, feeling this one.
Another key play here in the middle of the fourth quarter. Hemingway gets the rebound, but pays for it when she falls on her tailbone. Brianna Lizardi hits the three-pointer, but Eagles lost Hemingway for a few minutes.
That really did change the entire game. It's fair to say that Eisenhower was a bit disjointed after that, forced into 24 turnovers by this Wilson defense. At the other end, Hawkins and Stone playing the two-woman game. Stone with an animal-style double-double, 14 points and 13 rebounds.
And then the game changes again when Terry extends the Wilson lead with this drive to the bucket, but she buckles her knee in the process. She comes out, Eagles come back.
Hemingway leading the way again, so it's a one-possession game. 30 seconds left, Wilson up by 3, but that extra pass to Lizardi is key to the lock. She scored a team-high 15 points, none bigger than those 3. It ties it up 55-55. Wilson would get 2 looks at a possible game winner, but they would not fall, and we're going to overtime. I mean, catch your breath, people. This is an incredible championship game.
Look like the Eagles are ready to give Wilson a heartache tonight. How about Natalie Vasquez in the rhythm off the tip?
I don't think I've seen that very often, but anything you can do, I can do better was the Bruins song in overtime. As they had an answer for every big bucket, Sydney Ross came up with a pair of important steals. That's Terry to Hawkins. Splash. Those shots from distance were the difference, and then Hawkins, who by far had her worst performance of the playoffs, still had something left in the tank late in the game to be a game changer. She goes coast to coast, dishes it off to Terry for the bucket. Wilson taking the lead for good. Terry gonna cap her MVP performance, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And that'll do it. It's winner, winner, making history dinner. Wilson wins its first CIF Southern Section girls basketball title in 20 years.
This is one of the best championships we've ever covered.
I mean, by far, like, that's one of the better girls basketball games I think we've ever covered.
Bruins outscore Eagles 11-7 in overtime. Wilson, both teams had short benches, but the Bruins dug deep and pulled this one out.
Some key stats, the Bruins were 11 for 17 from the free throw line and only allowed Hemingway and the Eagles to score 14 second chance points.
I don't think we could say it any better than Wilson coach Aaron Carey said after the game, quote, "The city's excited. There's some excitement about the kids that live in Naples Island and the kids that are busing in from the Cabrillo area that picked to go to Wilson. Not because they're a championship school, but because they have what they want academically and can compete in sports as well."
No doubt it is a win for that school. It is a win for the city. It's a win for a special group of gritty Bruins. And they're not done yet. They will continue on in the CIF state bracket next week. For all of that local basketball coverage in the playoffs and beyond, you got to keep it right here at the562.org. And when you visit that website, please hit the subscribe button and help support local sports coverage.